Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to stream. Welcome. 8th of June. 8th of June, Sunday. Transfer window officially has been open for a week. And guess how many players Arsenal have signed? Exactly. Nada. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, looking all over the place, everyone's signing everything. Arsenal are signing, well, nothing. So we're going to definitely talk about that in the latest news. Thomas Partey is still up in the air. We're going to touch up on that. We're going to talk about striker situation because it genuinely looks like it could get peak. Let's just put it that way. It could get peakums. There are some rumors, and I'm not too sure how much I can trust them or not, how everything could actually go. So we're definitely going to be talking about it, but it is all regarding Martin Zubimendi. And this is a weird one because obviously he's been technically announced twice, signed since January, and he still isn't here, obviously. And now there are, after his latest comments and everything that he doesn't know, he's confused and all this stuff. It's not looking too good. Let's just put it that way. It definitely is not looking too good at the current stage. However, there might be some more issues regarding Arsenal signing Martin Zubimendi. So we're definitely going to touch upon that. And there is some other bits and bobs here or there, which we're definitely going to talk about regarding Arsenal. So we're definitely going to get into it. But yeah, if you haven't already, please do me a favor. Smash the like button on the way in. It helps a lot. Helps the stream out. Helps everything. Share the word around and stuff. If you haven't also, please consider subscribing because road to 1K is going strong and we're going to get there sooner or later. My hope is to get there before the 25-26 season begins. And of course, leave your thoughts down in the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, because let's be real, it is not a great site. Let's just put it that way. Big up BX Gunner, and first half I'm not watching. Obviously, I'm streaming. Obviously, and I'm gonna say this: for me, streaming is at the moment it's more important. Let's just put it that way. But I'm gonna watch the game no matter what. I will definitely watch the second half. How much there's left of it after I'm done streaming. On top of that, I have no issues also rewinding the game because that's how it works, at least for me, for my subscription. And with football, I can rewind it, rewatch it every single time for a week, if not two. And then if I can go to archives, and I can pre-record it as well. So I have no problem in that. So I'm streaming instead of actually watching the game. But of course, I know that there will be live score updates in the chat. I 100% can guarantee you that. I will keep a close eye on that as well. Plus, if everything goes to that, I can also turn on the game on another monitor, so I can definitely watch it as it goes live as well. So I have multiple options, but I want to focus on streaming right now. So I am here and I am there. Big up Marlon. Everybody is hating on Ronaldo. Like it is what it is, dude. If the more you get famous, the more people are gonna disagree with you, and that just comes with territory. Let's be real. Some people cannot handle other people being more successful than they are. Hence why they turn to abuse, they turn to disregarding other people's feelings and being abusive, very rude, obnoxious, and, well, it just more shows about those people who they actually are than the other person, let's be real. So it is what it is. Life is life. People are that way. So unfortunately, it is what it is. That's how people roll these days, and that is a shame because society definitely it's a massive letdown in that regard. But hey, it is what it is. So regarding the news, latest news at least, right? What we gonna do today to kick things off? We're gonna talk about Thomas Partey because that is still up in the air. And that is still unresolved, which is a big worry if you are an Arsenal fan, because after Thomas Partey, we're going to talk about Zubimendi. And if we're going to talk about Zubimendi, those news also might be a bit worrisome. Let's just put it that way. If we start talking about Thomas Partey, basically, it's 8th of June, and still Arsenal have made Thomas Partey what they're considered to be a competitive contract offer around 10 days ago. Thomas Partey himself said that he wants this situation to be, implied, I cannot say, to be resolved before the season ends or the June ends and everything. Same goes for Arsenal. And at the moment, the biggest issue is that there is another team in for Thomas Partey. Let's be real. And that is, of course, Barcelona. But at this moment, obviously, Thomas Partey, there is still no agreement between the parties. The situation remains very widely open. Partey wants to stay at Arsenal. However, he's said to be cautious that his next contract could potentially represent his last big deal, which is, to be honest, totally understandable. He kind of looking at for himself as well, and rightly so. Let's be real, rightly so. In a circle that he sees his importance to the team reflected within the terms proposed, which basically means he wants a huge payout or a long-term deal with a somewhat decent payout. Let's just put it that way. And Arsenal still haven't managed to get it over the line. And the closer we get to June 30th, July 1st, the more worrying it becomes. Because once June ends, Thomas Partey is officially a free agent. And then that means that any team in the world can go and talk to him and potentially try and sign him. The big question is, will that be Arsenal, who he signs for? Will that be Barcelona, who he signs for? Or potentially he's holding out till July 1st and see maybe Saudis come in with a bigger offer. Obviously, nobody knows what's really going on besides Thomas Partey and the parties involved. But this is not a good situation regarding Arsenal. Because if you look at Arsenal's midfield, officially, we have 3 players on our books. It's Rice, it is Merino, and that is Sambi Lokonga, since we just extended his deal. We don't have Partey because his contract is running out. Obviously, Jorginho has already left, which means our midfield is depleted as it is, which is a big, big worry, a massive worry, to say the least. And at the moment, it's a very big worrying sign, because before this summer, and even before, let's be real, but in general, before this summer, Arsenal fans were saying our main priorities is the attack, striker, left wing, another midfielder, and another defender, arguably, and maybe a backup goalkeeper if push comes to shove. So that means we needed to sign about 5-6 players, right? But now if Thomas Partey doesn't sign, that means we arguably need 2 more midfielders. And that now again puts Arsenal in a very sticky position in terms of the fact that, let's be real, Arsenal have money. But do they want to spend that money? That's a complete different situation, right? So on top of all that, not having midfielders, it means that if we have to sign 2 midfielders, it could mean that we don't get the necessary attackers, which is a big issue for me, at least as an Arsenal fan. I from what I have heard and what I've seen on social media, other people don't see that a big issue, which is quite weird and quite stupid, let's be real. But our midfield, it's the biggest worry. I might be a bit too old school in this regard, but as a kid, as I was watching football as I was growing up, there was a commentator, legendary commentator, in my sport of football, specifically in my country, right? And he said, "Show me your midfield, and I will tell you what your team is all about." And if I look at Arsenal's midfield from this perspective, I'm not gonna lie, it is scary hours, it is painful hours, and it genuinely is a weak situation in terms of Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm generally not gonna lie. And that for me is a big worry, a big situation, and a big instance where everything could go wrong in terms of everything. Jean Neves at right back, yeah. To be honest, it's not a surprise. Luis Enrique plays him at right back on occasion for PSG as well. It's not a big thing in that regard. It's not a big thing. They're playing, from what it looks like, they're playing 4-2-3-1 with double pivot. Neves as a right back. He most likely will invert, potentially. Bernardo Silva, Vitinha in midfield. Conceição on the left, Neto on the right. Maybe they will swap around. Bruno Fernandes as a number 10 and Ronaldo in the midfield. So, as in the midfield as a striker. So, we'll see. We genuinely will see. But that game has kicked off. It's 5 minutes in. So far, 0-0. And the final of the Nations League has begun. Portugal need a new coach immediately, dude. That's it. That's an understatement and a half. They have Roberto Martinez, and it's been apparently reported that Roberto Martinez won't be Portugal's coach after 2026. So that, let's see. I think they're gonna sack. He's leaving after the World Cup, as far as I have read, right? So we'll see how Portugal does in the World Cup for now, because Roberto Martinez, the same manager who ruined Belgium's golden generation so in recent times. So it's not a great look. Brazil got Ancelotti, and he immediately put Rodinho on the bench. No idea who that is, but let's just assume I know. Ancelotti said, "Remember when you destroyed me in El Clasico?" And you No, he just experimenting. I think he's still in this experimental phase a bit, because that was his first game. It was against Ecuador and everything 0-0 away. I think he kind of played a bit more safe, but he just wanted to see what everything is all about. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Thomas Partey's deal is up in the air. Nobody knows what's really going on there. And that is a big question mark. But as I said, it kind of revolves and evolves and surrounds this situation. I don't know how much you can trust it, but I don't trust this one single bit. However, knowing how Arsenal have done its thing, I wouldn't be surprised if this is true. We just spoke about Thomas Partey, and these are the reports before this Nations League final coming out that Florentino Perez is working on a secret signing. He will be playing the Nations League final, that player, and that one player is not Nico Williams. Because Nico Williams obviously is in talks with Atletico Bilbao, with the contract extension, bigger release clauses, bigger salary, and all this stuff, which now raises the question. If this is true, and you can believe this stuff, potentially, who could it be? And if we're talking in Arsenal terms, and if we're talking in these instances, there is only one player who has been linked with Arsenal and who has been linked with Real Madrid. Only one player who is waiting for Xabi Alonso to make his thing happen, who has waited for Real Madrid's offer. And there is no surprise as well, if you look at it that way, that the talks with Zubimendi have gone dead quiet. He's been signed already technically since January, and there's still no advancements by June 8th till this day. So if this is true, obviously, my mind is instantly going to Martin Zubimendi, because if you put together the fact that what Arsenal have done with Zubimendi so far, what he did last summer with Liverpool, the fact that Zubimendi, what he has said in the latest interview, and the fact that he still hasn't been announced, if you put all that together, it kind of looks like exactly it could be Mr. Martin Zubimendi potentially. And that now is a big issue. Let's be real. Whether you like it or not, whether you want him at Arsenal or not, it could be a big issue. Like serious talk. Because now the two midfielders Arsenal arguably would be relying upon for the next season, in i.e. Thomas Partey and i.e. Martin Zubimendi, could be up in the air, could be under big question marks, to say the least. Whether it's true or not, whether there is anything behind this report and reports like that, because this is not the only report that's suggesting there are multiple ones, remains to be seen. However, it definitely is not great news if you look at it this way. Genuinely, it is not great news. Yeah, wasted all our time on that fraud, no respect for us, we could have signed anyone, but yeah, that for me is the biggest issue. Big up Hyper Protagonist, hope you're doing well today. Big up, my guy. But yeah, it could be squeaky bum time for Arsenal. Hell no, I hate Barca. I don't want us to make Partey go there. We cannot do anything. Partey is out of contract in June 30th. In June 31st, sorry. Right? June ends, July starts, Partey officially is a free agent. Up until the 1st, he also can talk with any team he wants. Any team can technically approach him and give him their offer and what they want to sign him for. And does Thomas Partey, as we just looked at their latest reports, Thomas Partey wants to have a proper offer, proper salary, and proper long-term plan, because he's very well aware, let's be real, especially including his injuries, that this could be the latest offer he is getting. And now the biggest issue is, it doesn't matter if it's Barcelona or not, to be honest. It also can be Saudi. It could be any team at the end of the day. But unless Arsenal re-sign him, it could be very peakums and very, very bad for Arsenal. Because there is a possibility, let's be real, that Thomas Partey doesn't re-sign, he goes somewhere else. And that these specific rumors could be true. And if it's not Nico Williams, We know that only one player from those Nations League teams has been linked with Real Madrid a bit more than the others, and that is Martin Zubimendi. We are kind of in that situation. Big up, Mabas. Hope you're doing well today. Big up who you got winning Nations League final and NBA Finals game tonight. For finals of Nations League, I'm going with Spain. And for NBA Finals, Pacers, Halliburton, I think I'm going to go with Pacers. I think they're going to go 2-0 down, and then there will be some shenanigans once again. Because what I've noticed that the referees are starting to call less the Shea's provocations when he's shooting and every single contact he gets. And if that is the case, obviously he genuinely loses about 6 to 10 points on average, which at the end of the day is deciding the games many, many times. So I think I'm gonna go with Pacers at the end of the day. They're riding the wave. They're on top of everything, arguably. Halliburton is playing as a different gravy. Let's be real. Unless they manage to clamp him down fully, let's just say to 20 points max or about 15, I don't think it's gonna happen. Pacers have been better on the road. Yeah, definitely, 100%. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Pacers for this game. Because no matter how you look at it, I think that Pacers a bit have the edge over everything. If it's Ronaldo, Spanish, Ronaldo, and those over, just shut up, Marlon. You know, on why the hell you got Bane? Let him have it. Why not? Why not have Bane as your profile picture? Why the hell not? Let's be real. Why the hell not? But yeah, it's not looking good in general with this situation. However, there are more news because today it came out in many media, lots of media reports that for the third or fourth time already, Victor Osimhen has rejected Al Ahly's offer for signing for them, right? And Al Ahly have been left a bit confused about his demands, given the situation that basically he wanted more money. They negotiated more money. He still rejected them. Now it looks like Osimhen wants to stay in Europe, right? That is the case. However, it's not only that we are looking at, because it looks like, and I kid you not, it looks like Al Ahly have gone, Al Hilal, sorry, have basically gone sick and tired of Osimhen's antics fully, and they are in for a new player. Anyone guess who is the new player for Al Hilal to sign? You guessed it. You genuinely guessed it if you said Victor Gyökeres. They are in for Victor Gyökeres. Which is very interesting, I'm not gonna lie. This kind of came out of nowhere. But Al Hilal offered Osimhen different salaries every single time, massively increased about 5 times. And he still rejected them. The latest rumors are suggesting that despite everything, he still wants to stay in Europe, right? And now they are shifting their attention towards a different striker. And now it looks like the limelight has shone on Victor Gyökeres, unfortunately. Different Victor, different country, different nation, all this stuff. But hey, Victor Gyökeres has proven himself in the Portuguese league to be bagging goals left, right, and center. And it's not looking too great, is it? It genuinely is not looking too great. And let's be real. If you're Victor Gyökeres, you have gone from, I would just assume, about 3,000 or 4,000 a week at Coventry to about, what is his salary at Sporting Lisbon? Gyökeres gets paid at Sporting Lisbon about 40,000 a week. 40,000 a week, right? He's gone from about 4,000 or 5,000 to 40,000 in Sporting Lisbon. And if he goes to Saudi, right, you can bet your sweet ass he's gonna be on like 300-400 grand a week. That's how I see it. And for Victor Gyökeres, since he's 27, That could be also tax-free, by the way. We cannot forget that. A generational wealth for him. Let's be real. Let's not talk about it anything. He hasn't won anything in Europe. Means nothing. He has won in Portuguese league multiple titles and trophies and everything. That's enough. He has bagged over 100 goals in 2 seasons for Lisbon. So that definitely could be the case. He ain't of the level. Oh, fuck's sake! Marvel talks in the chat. 28 is a great time for the Saudi league too. To be honest, that is the case. That is the case. I think he definitely would get a good payday. Definitely good payday. Ivan Toney had won nothing as well, and he got a good payday. So he didn't bag nearly as much as Gyökeres did. So I would just assume if he's gonna get the bag, he's gonna get some proper bag as well. At least that's how I see it. Go figure whether it's true or not. So time only will tell in those terms. But ultimately, it's not too good, is it? Because Arsenal definitely they would need to sign a striker, and if Gyökeres gets on Al Hilal's radar and everything, even if Man United, I think it's more possible that he moves to one of those teams rather than Arsenal. Let's be real. So Arsenal at the end of the day are only left with Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal are only left with Benjamin Sesko. Whether you want him or not, that's a completely different story. But it looks like Arsenal have only one option left if anything of this comes to fruition. If any of these reports, links, rumors come to life, Arsenal are left only with one option, which in general is not a good thing. And this was one of my biggest worries in this market. People laughed at me when I was releasing TikToks and the shorts in this regard, saying that Arsenal need to get their business done early, because the longer a certain player stays on market, the bigger are the chances the other team is going to take them or swoop under our noses and sign the player. And it's happening. Let's be real, it's happening. It could happen with Zubimendi. It could happen with Gyökeres. And it looks, obviously, with Sesko, that's a bit different story, but it looks like it's not going to happen as much. But it's not still guaranteed that we're going to sign Sesko as well. So this is a very weird thing that's happening right now. And this is one of the biggest issues with Arsenal. The longer we're going to do this. At the same time, it looks like Arsenal have already prepared contingencies for these situations by releasing reports that Andrea Berta likes to work at 2-3 targets simultaneously at the same time. So he can negotiate simultaneously with Gyökeres and Sesko, and then if one rejects, he can get the other, or one signs for another team, he can get the other, right? But ultimately, it's not that big of a thing. It's not looking too great, is it? Gyökeres is getting paid this summer one way. Yeah, definitely. One way or another, he is getting paid. No matter where he goes, because he could get a big bag at United. He will definitely get a big bag if he goes to Saudi. And if he comes to Arsenal, he would also get a big bag, no matter what. And if you think that how his salary would rise just when he was at Coventry, I don't know how much he was on Coventry, but I would assume about a few grand. Then he moves to Sporting Lisbon, where he gets about 40,000 a week. And now his salary would be in triple digits. Well, 6 digits, let's be real, but triple digits before the comma. Let's just put it that way. But if it's Saudi, it's definitely 200-300 grand. If it's Arsenal, I would assume it's going to be about 180-200. If it goes to United, then it's going to be 200,000-300,000. I would assume so, at least. That's how I see these things. But it's definitely not a great look long term if you're talking about Arsenal in this regard. 100%. It definitely is not great. It's definitely not fantastic, and it looks like it could be massive pain if we talk about if it gets dragged out even longer than it has to be. But overall, yeah, being an Arsenal fan is sheer and utter pain, if you ask me. Being an Arsenal fan is sheer and utter pain, because all we get is empty promises, false sense of security, some hope which gets dangled in front of your nose like a carrot and then gets taken away from you. And that is every single season how I feel as an Arsenal fan. Every single season. So yeah, it's not a great look. It's definitely not a great feeling, and it's not a great situation regarding being an Arsenal fan. Rogers, Link, Mitoma, I don't want Caracetas. Mitoma can come, Rodgers can come, but I don't see it happening because Unai Emery is never going to deal with Arsenal. Let's be real. Maybe they will, but again, if you ask me, signing Rodgers for about 70, 80 million or something like that, that again, it would be kind of nuts. Sesko would be more. Sesko would be more, 100%. Sesko would be more, in my opinion. How much is Sesko on? I'm going to have a quick look-see on how much is Sesko on. But Arsenal definitely are going to put Sesko in a big bag. Spain scored 1-0 Spain. Vamos, viva España. Leipzig, let me check. Who scored for Spain, by the way? Spain 1-0 up. Zubimendi has scored. Ironic, isn't it? Martin Zubimendi has scored for Spain. Woohoo! Whoopity-doo. Whoopity fucking doo. Zubi-doo, where are you? And all this stuff. Martin Zubimendi has made it 1-0. Okay, Benjamin Sesko. Let's go to British pounds. I know you cannot see it. I'm just looking it for myself. Benjamin Sesko is on £92,000 a week. 92 grand. Which means if he would come to Arsenal, I would expect him to be on about 200, something like that. Given how Arsenal increased the salaries and everything, it's actually kind of nuts. If you think about it, the salary increases other players have seen. That is the biggest thing. Think about it, because, for example, how was it? Zinchenko went from 20 grand to 150. Calafiori went from about 20 to 120. Merino went from about 50 to 150. Jesus went from 90 to 260. 260 from 90. That's the same territory as Sesko right now is getting. So I would assume Sesko is going to get 200, if not more. Let's be real. I'm a crash out. Just because Zubimendi scored, seriously, you're going to crash out. Damn, that June, a lot of people to score. It had to be him. Yeah, Zubimendi has made it 1-0. Looking good. And all that stuff, let's be real. But it's kind of nuts. I'm not going to lie, it is kind of nuts. Of all the people to score on this day, it's Zubimendi. I'm not going to lie. That is kind of weird. That is weird. But Zubimendi has scored, so we'll have to wait and see. Genuinely, we will have to wait and see how this develops. Regarding Sesko, by the way, right? It's I don't know. We're gonna talk to Sesko's representatives apparently next week. So that is that. We're gonna see what's gonna happen there. But about Sesko, we're gonna talk next week, and the talks will be around 80 to 100 million euros, at least from what I see, right? Leipzig are expecting the first offer from Arsenal for Benjamin Sesko next week. The clubs have to find an agreement between 80 to 100 million euros, which is about 64 to 82, 83 million pounds. And I'm totally convinced Sesko will play for Arsenal next season. That's what at least Pledygol is saying. That is kind of nuts, if you ask me. Genuinely kind of nuts. Manberg got put nerves back in the midfield. We'll see what's going to happen. We'll see what's going to happen in that regard. But it's not a great look. I'm not going to lie. It definitely is not a great look, if you ask me. It's Zubimendi that he has scored. But yeah. Wait, let me check the goal quickly. You cannot see this, which is nice. Zubimendi, get the ball, nice counter, pass to the right, assist, and scramble, and Portugal basically screw it all up. Portugal basically did a Maza in front of goal, and Zubimendi made it 1-0, which is nice. But is it nice for Arsenal? That is the big question. Because, as I said, it might not even be that he's going to play at Arsenal next season. But yeah, Benjamin Sesko, it looks like of all the signings Arsenal could make, all the links that Arsenal have been linked with in recent times, Benjamin Sesko could be the one that does it all. The issue with this is, why? Why, oh my, oh why? We have had countless chances to sign quite amazing strikers. We had insane amount of chances to sign insane strikers, but we haven't. That for me is the biggest question. Why? Why? Oh, why? Oh, why? Bigger Pepper, we are not moving like a serious club like every time. Yeah, that looks like that. We had a chance to sign Tony, we didn't. We had a chance to sign, Dovbik, we didn't. We had a chance to sign, who else did we have a chance to sign? Well, we could have signed Gyökeres, we haven't. It looks like he's going to move to Saudi now. Could move and everything. It's actually kind of nuts. It's genuinely kind of nuts how incompetent Arsenal have been in general regarding the transfers, signing players, and letting everyone go. Big up Eros. Mikel music in the building. Eros on the spins, on the discs, CDs, frisbees, plates, and all this stuff. Maybe not Community Shield, but that's a bit different story. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to run by you this. Yeah, I know. Like, seriously, I know people haven't been here, so I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think, and this is for all the people who were not here, and we talked about this early in the stream, right? Do you think this could be Zubimendi? Do you think? It's the Cronkies. They ain't never serious build this one. It's all of them. It's Cronkies, Hierarchy, Arteta. It's everyone. Let's be real. Let's not beat around the bush here. It's everyone all over the place. Do you think that this could be Zubimendi? This is the latest reports, came out about an hour before the Nations League game. That Florentino Perez is working on a secret signing. Woo! He will be playing in the Nations League final. And it's not Nico Williams. Obviously, Nico Williams is in talks with Bilbao on signing extension and everything, new deal, new release clause and everything. So the big question is, this secret signing, could that be Zubimendi? That for me is now the biggest question. Because technically, if you can believe rumors, Arsenal have signed Zubimendi twice since January. And that deal has been done since January. But looking at how he basically did over Liverpool last summer, I'm not sure what to think. I'm generally not sure. Oh, Portugal scored. Vamos. Nuno Mendes scored from Pedro Neto's assist, 1-1. Zubimendi scored for Spain, and Nuno Mendes scored for Portugal, 1-1. That's for everyone out there. 100% Zubimendi, more trash PR. The online reaction within the fan base, if the Zubimendi thing falls through, it's gonna be nuts. It genuinely will be nuts, to say the least. I looked on socials just about as I put this screen up, right? Of the reaction of Zubimendi scoring, because Spain has scored and Zubimendi is the goal scorer. Oh my God, the glaze I just saw there. That is actually insane. It wasn't even a good goal, to be honest. It was a random cross. There was a scrap. Portuguese defender screwed up together with the goalkeeper Diogo Costa, and Zubimendi just scored the ball into empty net. So there's nothing even to it. But obviously, you have to be there to score the goal. But ultimately, for me, the biggest question is this deal Zubimendi or anything? Because I put this tweet into group chat, right? I put the tweet in a group chat where I am with some Arsenal fans, with some Arsenal YouTubers as well, and everything. And in that chat is also a gal, ironically enough. And he said that we are idiots that we believe this stuff. That's what he said, ultimately. So take that as you will, as you wish. But at the end of the day, I'm not so sure if I'm an idiot or I'm actually just seeing just what's in front of me and just, am I being wrong to assuming that this actually could be Zubimendi? Am I wrong to assuming that this secret signing is Zubimendi? Because if I look at the Portuguese and Spanish teams that are currently playing in the Nations League final, I don't see any player of any of these who has been linked with Real Madrid as of now. It isn't Yamal, it's not Oyarzabal, it's not Nico Williams. It's not Pedri, it's not Fabian Ruiz, it's not Mingueza from Celta Vigo, it's not Lenormand, he just signed from Atletico Madrid, it's not Hausen, he just signed for Real Madrid, it's not Cucurella, it's not Unai Simon, or Baena, Kubrasi, Gavi, Grimaldo, Isco, Fermin Lopez. Half of them are Barcelona players, by the way. So the only one that I actually can see this actually being is Zubimendi, because I don't see any Portuguese player being signed. Like, that for me is the biggest question. They're playing in the Champions League. He never was leaving. If they got Champions League, if he didn't get Champions League, he would leave. Most likely, because he's gonna get a big payoff. Atletico finished 4th in the league on goal difference, by the way. But yeah, Villarreal are gonna be in Europa League. Big Nevs, yeah, will be meltdown. Yeah, if Zubimendi doesn't sign, it's gonna be nuts. It genuinely is going to be nuts. Because the biggest issue for me at this moment is we have 3 players only, 3 midfielders on the books, 3 for midfield spot. It is Rice, it is Merino, and it is Sambi Lokonga. Yeah, so you kind of can say 2 only, but it is what it is. We have 3. Partey hasn't signed a deal. There are talks that he could move to Barcelona, and he still hasn't decided, and there is no answer. Partey is still inclined to see more offers, by the looks of things, because he wants a proper deal, since this arguably is his last deal of his career, the big one, the big deal, right? So there's a possibility we don't get any of them. And now what we're going to do? Let's just say Partey goes and Zubimendi signs for Real Madrid. Who do we have in midfield? Who are we going to get if they both we don't have them both? Who are we going after? Because then it is utter and total meltdown settings, as Peppermint is saying. Utter and total meltdown settings. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Zubimendi goes to Madrid. I wouldn't as well, especially looking at what Zubimendi says in interviews, that he doesn't know what his future holds. He's confused. Obviously, as a player, you probably would say that just so don't spark any more rumors. But the fact that he has he's talked so openly about the fact how much he admires, for example, Xabi Alonso or players like that. He admires Real Madrid and all this stuff. It is quite a bit worrying. Let's just put it that way. He idolizes Xabi Alonso and everything. There is something to it. I'm not gonna lie. And I can see there are 6 people here. If you haven't, please do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe. Obviously, I know this is not the most opportunistic time to go live because Nations League final is going on and people are not gonna watch as much, obviously. But for me, obviously, it's streaming before actually football because I can always catch up to the game a bit later on. But defending for that, yeah, it's very poor defending by Portugal. Let's be real. Then we can either get Kanya or Chouameni or Stiller. Stiller, by the way, might be moving together with Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. There are talks about that as well. Even in group, not always, but a tiny bit at times. I can say you that much, yeah. Man, we should have got down, signed Ruiz. Yeah, we should have last summer signed Ruiz, but we signed Merino, so it is what it is. 10 likes. Big up to you all. 10 likes. If we could get it to 20 likes, that would be phenomenal today. If we could get it to 20 likes today, because out of last 9 streams, 7 of them have gone at least 20 likes, which is quite phenomenal, I'm not going to lie. So if there's possibility we can push it up to 20 likes, that would be quite phenomenal. I'm not going to lie. That would be all to you. That's all to you. And if you haven't also subscribed, if you're new around here, Round to 1K is going strong. Hell no, man. Xabi, calm down, man. Still looking at him. Yeah, again, see? That's why he wants him there. That's the thing. That's why he wants him there. That is the biggest thing. But yeah, this Zubimendi situation, there is way more to it than meets the eye, 100%. The issue is people don't want to admit that. Let's just put it that way. People don't want to admit that. People definitely don't want to admit that there is more to this situation than anything. Yeah, big up. Yeah, let's get to 1K. Come on, let's do it together. Anyways, we have another thing, which is very, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit laughable, but hey, look at this. If you know, you know. Look at this. Still a rise. I'm gonna see them. It would be, but it's not gonna happen. Look at this. Lazio has rejected 30 million euro bid from Al Hilal for Nuno Tavares. Remember Nuno Tavares? He just signed for about 5-6 million to Lazio from Arsenal. He just joined the Italian club on a permanent basis for 5 million from Arsenal. Imagine. Do you see this? Arsenal sell this guy for 5 million, and all of a sudden Saudis come in with a 30 million offer. Why does this never happen to Arsenal? Like, seriously, why does this never happen to Arsenal? When have you seen this happen? Obviously, last September, it was the Trossard randomly out of nowhere, right? But in general, we signed Nuno Tavares for 9 million or 8, something like that. We just sold him for 5-6 million, right? He left everything. Everyone's happy, off the books and everything. Now, a few days later, bang, 30 million from Al Hilal offer. And they rejected it. Literally, they rejected it. Like the biggest thing is, though, think about it this way. If Arsenal loaned Nuno Tavares out to Lazio, just loan, he played how he played, he comes back, and Al Hilal offers 30 million to Arsenal. Kid you not, we are taking this in a heartbeat. That is legitimately more than 300% increase on the profits we can make from this guy. We sign for 9, sell him for 30 million. Would be phenomenal. But now if you look at this, Arsenal look like mugs. They bought him for 9, sold him for 5. So we are 4 million already in the hole. Already. Not including the salaries and all this stuff. Like, business the Arsenal way, innit? It's genuinely business the Arsenal way. Exactly, Arsenal business. It's utterly insane. We give away money for free. If we give away millions like that, right? Can I at least get like 10 or 100K from you lot? Maybe like some brown envelopes, since you did that with Marquinhos and all this stuff. Can I get some of that my way as well? I have good use to it. I can do renovations at my home and everything, set my kids up for future and all this stuff. I would be all for it. Arsenal give money away. Exactly. We are absolute mugs. We are. Let's be real. We absolutely are mugs. It's actually kind of nuts. If Gyökeres Rodrigo played for Chelsea, you would hear Fabrizio announce Lauren. Yeah, 100%. If it was another team, if they were moving somewhere else, they would be announced already without shadow of a doubt. Shadow of a doubt. By the way, for you, Pepper and Eros, did you hear that Al Hilal now, since Osimhen rejected them for the 5th time, they are interested in signing Victor Gyökeres? Seriously. Out of nowhere. They are interested in Victor Gyökeres as well. Take that with some pinch of salt. Take that. Al Hilal are interested in Victor Gyökeres right now. Isn't that telling a lot? It's actually kind of nuts, if you think about it. It genuinely is nuts, to say the least. Like, yeah, I just saw that. Like, and he's gonna get some proper bag too. Yeah. I quote tweeted that, I think. I genuinely quote tweeted that, I think. Yeah. Where is it? This one. How are we feeling about this then? How are we feeling about this situation? I heard the same thing earlier today. Some Sheikh tax-free for Big Victor. I'd take it if I were him. Like 650 mil tax-free, 650K a week. Okay, let's do it this way. 650,000 a week, right? Times 52. That's 33.8 million a year tax-free. He signs a 2-3 year deal. That's 67.6 million tax-free in 2 years. 67.6 million in 2 years tax-free. Tax-free, you know. And he said no to that. All of a sudden, he wants to stay in Europe, right? But before that, he rejected Al Hilal twice. He said he wants more money. They renegotiated, redid his contract to get more money, and he still rejected them. At first, it was like 300, then 450, then 600, now 650. He still rejects them. All of a sudden, he wants to play in Europe. Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense. Like, serious talk. Exactly. Sign me up for that. Dang it. They will. They will. Man, this glory hunting fan. Maybe. Maybe. But yeah, this is the most likely transfers. These are the transfers that are most likely going to be completed in the next few weeks. Arsenal are nowhere because we don't have a deal where we have medicals and we need all this stuff. We have none of that. These are the deals where more or less things are going to get done very, very soon, allegedly. Magnan is a bit under question mark for Chelsea, but it looks like Gittens has accepted personal terms. They need to agree on the fee with Borussia Dortmund only. That's the only thing that has left, ultimately. And they are about 5-6 million off Chelsea from Borussia Dortmund. So it looks like they're going to get it, right? Liverpool, they signed Kirkes, Frimpong, Wirtz. It's almost done as well. They're about about 10 million in between themselves. They're going to figure something out 100%. United have signed Cunha, Buemo. It looks like also will be very, very soon done. Man City, they have signed Reinders. Just before I went live about 2 hours ago, it was announced that he has passed the medicals. They signed Aït-Nouri, and they are signing Cherki. 3 more. They have 3 players. What, meanwhile, we are doing in this instance? Because Chelsea are in Club World Cup, first of all. Liverpool are not in the Club World Cup, by the way, and they still have signed 3 high-end level players. Man United are not in Club World Cup. They finished 15th in the league and lost the Europa League final. They already have done more business. And Man City, yes, they are in the Club World Cup, and they are strengthening for the Club World Cup and everything. And Arsenal, meanwhile, what we are doing? We are selling Nuno Tavares for 5 million, and Al Hilal are ready to pay 30 for him. We are signing Kepa. We are signing Kepa in the meantime. Serious talk. Everyone's signing big players. We are signing Kepa. We are signing Kepa. That's what we are signing, genuinely. Like, what are we doing? We are signing Kappa instantly. Liverpool got Wirtz. Yeah, exactly. Chelsea actually have a striker now as well. Exactly. They don't have Action Jackson up top anymore. They have actually Liam Delap. And good keeper. Exactly. They're going to sign Magnan, I think. Magnan hasn't been done. There are generally a few million in between, but they're gonna sort it out. As long as you put the offer on the table and based on how they are talking about the negotiations, legitimately, all you can see, bid rejected, second bid goes in, it gets rejected. However, that bid that gets rejected, the second one, usually is about 5 to 6, 7 million in between the asking value and the actual pay they are offered. So which means they offered up the ante by about 3 million. They offer instead of 25, they offered, let's just say 22. And the rest of 3 million will be on add-ons or player achievements or some crap like that. And it's done. Our rivals are bulking up while we are thumbs up our asses. Exactly. Everyone is eating well at the Swedish table, basically. Well, all you can eat buffet. Basically, that's what it looks like. All teams are eating well at the all what you can eat buffet. Arsenal, meanwhile, they are pulling the door when it needs to be pushed. Basically, that's what they're doing. They're standing at the door. They want to get into that buffet, and they're pulling the door, but it needs to be pushed, and they cannot read and figure out what the hell is going on. And yeah, we are interested. We are linked. We are on fire. We are in talks. We are in negotiations. We are progressing well. Everyone is happy from both sides. We are personal terms and everything. Like, what else can we say about Arsenal? Ultimately, what else can we say about Arsenal when you look at these instances and when you look what other people have signed, other teams are signing? It's 2-1 Spain as I'm live. Oyarzabal has scored. 2-1 Spain. Oyarzabal has scored. Oyarzabal. I would genuinely take Oyarzabal at Arsenal. I know many people disagree with this, but for me, Oyarzabal is quite a good player. From Real Sociedad, if I had to take a player, I would definitely take Oyarzabal. Or Zubimendi as well, obviously, because we'll need technically a midfielder, but I would take Oyarzabal 100%. I would take Sancet from Atletico Bilbao. I would take Aleix Baena from Villarreal. I would take Yeremy Pino as well, and players like that. But Arsenal don't want those players because they are not cream of the crop. They don't have the jawline for the proper. Wait, let me go. They don't have the jawline to be the models, the fashion FC and everything. When they turn their head, you can see the perfect rectangular, trapeze, triangle format that highlights the angle of the shirt and everything. They don't have them. That's why they don't want them. Basically, that's what it is. That's what it looks like. We are concrete links FC. Yeah, we are linked with everyone and sign no one. That's what we are every single day of the week. Just get told, bro, seeing the same business already do every season, and it's like you don't get pissed off anymore because you know exactly what Arsenal will do. And that is the biggest thing. Every single season, well, summer, let's just say it as it is, we see the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And then I get in my comments on TikTok, on shorts, even on streams to some extent, or afterwards on videos, oh, just be patient. Relax. Everything will be fine. Berta's Arsenal will do wonders. Berta will be cooking. Arteta is the best architect in the world and everything. Relax. 21 years without the league. No trophies whatsoever. 750, I would say 400 of those million pissed down the wind. Cannot make deals. Drag them out longer than it needs to be done. We can win the dog pooping on the pitch, then have it slips and it pulls a hamstring and everything. Like, what are we doing here? Right? You can't see there, Adams. Yeah, you cannot see that. Bid prepared. Concrete evidence. Arteta is on fire. Player likes the project or whatever. Speaking of player likes the project, by the way, and all this crap, where is it? Here it is. Genuinely on cue, I just remembered I liked one of these for the stream specifically. Player likes the project, right? Here it is. Here it is. Šeško is tempted by the Arteta's project. Tempted. And all this stuff. Big up, by the way. Why not? Big up. Hope you're doing well. Bid prepared. Are tempted by the project. Big fan of the project and all this stuff. It's always the same things. Always missing a piece of the puzzle. We will get the final piece already when we've been hearing that. Exactly. Like, it's always like this. It's like we want to assemble the puzzle, right? And you assemble the puzzle, and you notice that one piece is missing. And where is it? You check the box, you check the other box, you check under the bed, and it's gone. And it never gets found. So you basically reassemble it. You basically destroy the puzzle, put it back in the box, and well, it sits in your shelf because you never can complete it, and you just buy a new puzzle. Arsenal should buy a new puzzle, a new manager. That's what they should do. More trash PR daily, yeah. Player-like projects, how much in the paying? Basically. Sesko is on 90 grand a week at Leipzig. Wanna bet that he's gonna go to like 180, 200 when he joins Arsenal? Odds on. Big up, Gavin. Hope you're doing well today. Big up. Oh, by the way, where is it? Where is it? I wanna ask also this to Why Not. Specifically questions for Why Not and Gavin actually as well. Specifically for you lot. Do you think this, right? Do you think that this secret signing is Zubimendi? Because I've been doing a survey, by the way. I've been doing a survey on the stream that if it's not Nico Williams, who else could it be besides Zubimendi? By the way, people, if you haven't already, do me a favor, like the stream. We are aiming for 20 likes on today's stream. And subscribe if you're new. Road to 1K gang is going strong as well, aiming for 1K before the 25-26 season kicks off as well. by the way. So if you could do me a favor, do both of those things, that would be much, much, much appreciated. And if you have any thoughts, you can leave them down in the live chat as well. Definitely can tackle and discuss them. Anyone would like a project if it doubles their pay and sponsorship deals? 100%. Coming to Arsenal includes also social media influence, because all the top gooners and everyone will follow you instantly. And you're going to go from 10,000 followers to about 200,000 followers just because of the brand. That also plays the part. Yeah, big up everyone every time. So my question is to Why Not and Gavin. Do you think the secret signing is Zubimendi? That because Florentino Perez is working on a secret signing. He will be playing a Nations League final, and it's not Nico Williams. How big of you, how much money you are putting on this that it is Martin Zubimendi? Because I genuinely have not heard Real Madrid being linked with any of the Portuguese players. And from all the players that play in Spanish team, only one is Zubimendi. And given that how we have dragged out this deal, we have signed him twice and we haven't signed him still, then you add on top of that what Zubimendi has said in interviews. I'm kind of thinking it could be Zubimendi. If we lose out on some, we genuinely are, because if we lose out on Zubimendi, right, it doesn't stop there. It genuinely doesn't stop there. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm going to show you this as well, because this is the big part of this. This is a big part of this. This is one of those big ones you have to actually talk about. Because this is the Zubimendi thing that's... Because if we don't sign Zubimendi, this could... If this also happens, we are royally fucked. Let's be real. This is the other thing we need to take into account. Partey still hasn't signed. We have 3 players officially on our books. We have Lokonga, we have Rice, and we have Merino. And Thomas Partey still hasn't made an agreement. Partey is... See, the situation remains open. Partey wants to stay at Arsenal. However, he is said to be cautious that his next contract could be potentially represent his last big deal. And his inner circle want to see him importance to the team reflected within the terms proposed. So he wants a big payday, a long-term contract. Everyone understands that. But if Arsenal don't provide him with that, and let's just say Barcelona does, or Saudi does, because if Saudi comes in with the bag, Partey is in the first flight to Saudi instantly. Let's be real. It could be very, very bad. Because then we need to sign not just one midfielder, because I still think we need 2, but we need to sign 2 minimum if Partey also leaves and Zubimendi doesn't sign. That is the big worry in all of this for me. And then what we gonna do? Serious talk. What we gonna do then? What is Arsenal going to do if Zubimendi doesn't sign, Partey doesn't sign? Our midfield is genuinely gonna be Rice, Merino, and Lokonga. What we gonna do then? And that is the biggest thing. What Gavin is saying. Why would you want to play under Mikel Arteta? That is the biggest question. Why would you want to play under Arteta? Why? Give me good reasons why you would want to play under Arteta. That is question and a half from Gavin. Question and a half. Why would you want to play under Mikel Arteta? Seriously. I'm asking once again. Why would you want to play under Mikel Arteta? Because so far, there is no upside. You're going to get run down into the ground until you pull endless hamstrings. You get endless injuries. And all of a sudden, once you get injured, you're going to be replaced like nothing. Because Arteta does it all the time. He uses while it's convenient for you, and then he just bins you. He did that with Ranieri while Saka was out. Then Ranieri didn't play almost at all and everything. He did that also with other players like Zinchenko when he played in the 10 at times, or in the midfield whilst Odegaard was out. Then didn't play him whatsoever pretty much once Odegaard came back. Everyone was playing whilst someone was injured. After that, he goes out. That's it. Emil Smith-Rowe as well. He got man of the match performances. He was on a nice roll. And all of a sudden, bang, he holds the bench and does nothing. Like, why would you want to play under Arteta if he just doesn't trust you whatsoever? No matter who you are, unless you are in his special bunch, which includes Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, and players like that. Why would you come here? Like, seriously. We play crap football, no tactical abilities, no managerial tactics, no managerial abilities, no system awareness, no situational awareness. After 5.5 years, you are still micromanaging every single goddamn pass you are doing, your players are doing on the pitch. You would think that after 2-3 years, players know where to pass, what to do, but no. He jumps up and genuinely lands the airplanes, does the YMCA on the side of the pitch and everything. Like, why would you want to do that? Why? Why would you put yourself to that stress once again? Why would you? Why? Like, serious talk, why? As a Madridista, it's not Nico Williams, possibly Zubimendi, but I didn't expect Frank to sign. Yeah, I get it. Especially as an attacker or backup for number 29. Well, and no trophies, exactly. And to add on top of that, and genuinely, to add on top of that, you get 0 trophies, 0 merits by your name. Why would you sign up for that? Seriously. I wouldn't, personally. I wouldn't, because I want to win. At least, like, unlike others, I guess. Other people are happy to being second, having dinner plates as everything, and just lose. That's what it feels like. Everyone is happy being second and all this crap. Okay, I have to put this one up just so I can annoy someone in the chat. Eros, what we saying? 7-1, yeah? What we saying? You got Germany, by the way. What we saying? Eros, serious talk. What we saying here? Like 7-1. You scored 1 goal in 60th minute when it already was 5-1. 5-0. What are we saying about this? Chicago Fire beat DC United, recording their biggest victory since 2001, by the way. Eros, what are we saying about this? Defeat Central United or what? We have Benteke. Bentekless. Big up views, by the way. Big up. If you haven't already, go subscribe to views as well, top guy. Smash the likes or Rob will go back to OBS. Big up to you. Big up views. Big up views. Okay, it's time to rile views as well, because I need to get on views' nerves at least once a day. Where is this? Where is this? By the way, people, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And smash the likes if you haven't already. We are aiming for 20 likes on this stream. We have hit in the last 9 streams 20 likes, 7 streams 20 likes in the last 9. So definitely that would be much appreciated. It's all for banter, let's be real. First things first. Come on. Let's do this. Trust me, once I make on AI somehow Mikel music, you will hear it every single time. It's not about the destination, Mr. Robo. It's about what's more important, guys, the destination or the journey, guys. What is it? It's the lemon or the light bulb, guys. I haven't watched DC United since early 2000s. Yeah, you're a fake fan, you know. Plastic fan. Big up to everyone, big up. Anyways, since Osimhen, we already touched upon it, but I wanted to get other people's thoughts on this. Since Osimhen rejected Al Hilal, serious talk, since Osimhen has rejected Al Hilal for the 5th time already, and he wants to stay in Europe, do you see a world where Gyökeres goes to Al Hilal? Serious talk. Gyökeres at the moment is on £40,000 a week at Sporting. If he goes to Al Hilal, he gets about 300 grand, doesn't he? That this Mikel music business has got to stop. Trust me, it will catch on. It will catch on at some point. It might catch on also with. I might talk to BBK about this as well. It might not be only just my stream. Excellent. Yeah. And all this stuff. Bring me Osimhen then. I get it. I totally get it. But it doesn't look like that. It genuinely doesn't look like we're going to get it. It doesn't look like we're going to get either of those. We should. That's the thing. For me, the biggest, like, it's bad enough that we don't sign the players. But what really icks me quite a bit about Arsenal is the fact that when there are big players available, on the table, on the market, we are never in for them. We don't even throw our hats in the talks about that. Serious talk. Like, what are we doing here? Our hat is never in the names mentioned when we talk about the big players. Like, that for me is the biggest issue here. Because you would assume that we get our hat in the name. We basically throw our hat in the conversation, but we never do. We should talk about Osimhen. We should talk about even Mbappe to some extent. Let's be real, when he was moving on a free. We should be in these conversations for Kvaratskhelia, for big names, and we never, ever are. That is the biggest issue for me. Who is Oyarzabal, bro? Look like you got... Dude, I told you Oyarzabal scored the second goal before the halftime. Serious talk. We did. I told you that. And I would take Oyarzabal at Arsenal as well. Go watch. No one's holding you here. Get Sesko, lads. You won't regret. Boyton is a big fan of Sesko. Respect to him. Dovbyk, Sorloth, Morata, Mateta, Tony, Mbuemo. Yeah. Market opportunities. Dovbyk went for 30-something million last summer. Sorloth went for 28 million last summer. Morata went for 10 million last summer. Mateta, this just goes without saying in general. Tony went for 30-something million last summer. Mbuemo, we'll see how much he goes this summer, but in general, Dovbyk, Sorloth, Morata, Tony, 4 options we could have had last summer, and we didn't sign any of them. Oyarzabal is a winger player, not an Arteta player. Wenger player, sorry, not winger. Wenger would sign. 100%. Oyarzabal would sign players like... Wenger would sign players like Oyarzabal, Sancet. He would sign Baena 100%. He would go for a player like Baena because that arguably would be for the closest potential for being like Santi Cazorla we used to have. Dovbyk went for 30-odd million last summer, and he's now would be about 50, 60 at the moment, 100%. But he was so cheap last summer, it's actually kind of insane. Exactly, they are still available. They are all available. Let's be real. Despite the fact that all of them moved last summer, besides Mbuemo and Mateta, every single of them moved last summer. Dovbyk to Roma, Sorla to Atleti, Morata to AC Milan, and then to Galatasaray or whatever. He moved to Turkish league. And then Tony moved from Brentford to Saudi, to Al Hilal, Al Ali. And he won the Asia Champions League as well. Like, that is the, like, how we can be so blind, genuinely, so blind. Arsenal genuinely are like, you know, you go to a club, you pick up a girl and everything. Arsenal are in this instance like that girl, a cocktease basically. You know, you're in the booth, some stuff is happening and all this, you decide to take her home and everything. And we're almost there, it's about to happen, and she says, oh, I need to go home, oh, I have early morning and everything. Like, and that's about it. Arsenal tease you till the very end and pulls out in the last second just so it looks like you tried. And that's about it. Those options, exactly. Fans for me can find, well, is it true that Madrid plot hijacked Zubimendi and why Arsenal are signed? That for me is the biggest thing. I didn't want to show this because Views is here and, you know, Unks and all that. But since you mentioned this, I'm going to show this because it might be a stretch, but it might be true as well. Let's just put it this way. Anytime a top player is available, not like we are not interested in anything. Our name doesn't even get mentioned in the same realm. When there is a player like Kvaratskhelia available, we are talking about a 16-year-old from the Norwegian league. Naipan. Kvaratskhelia is available, we talk about Naipan. Benzema available, we sign what's its face, Sanogo or whatever. That is Arsenal in a nutshell. Expectations. Kvaratskhelia. Mbappe, Benzema, Luis Suarez, and all these guys. Reality, Takuma Sano, Reo Miyachi, Squillaci, Yaya Sanogo, Johan Juru, and all these players. That's the reality we get at the end of the day. We should protest for price drops. We should have price drops on everything and freedom for everything. Let's be real. Stomach cramps. Exactly. And when we actually can get to the negotiations with the player, right, then it's the other side of issue. We are about to do the jiggy and all this stuff, and Arsenal in this instance cannot get it up. Barely can get it in a semi, and then it gets laughed out of. She starts laughing and leaves the house and goes partying further with her girlfriends and tells that story to every girlfriend in the world, so you don't get any date whatsoever. That's what Arsenal is. Cannot get it half up whatsoever, and then that club just tells everyone that we cannot do the business, and that's it. We don't get any business done afterwards anymore. It's either we get cock-teased by one side, which is Zubimendi, Vlahovic, and all these guys, or we are at own fault, we cannot get it up. And then we cannot get any other girl at the end of the day. That's what it feels like, being an Arsenal fan. It's one of the sides. Williams only plays well for Spain. Yeah, but look at this. Florentino Perez is working on a secret signing. He will be playing in the Nations League. And that secret signing is not Nico Williams. Nico Williams is renegotiating with Atletico Bilbao with a new deal, which at the end of the day means that secret signing is somebody else, if you can believe these wafflers, by the way, because you cannot trust anything these guys say at the end of the day. But if this is true, a big if, but if this is true, only player from all these players that are playing in Nations League at the moment, it's Zubimendi, because he's the only one who has somewhat vaguely been linked with Real Madrid. Zubimendi has said himself, he basically praises Xabi Alonso, he's his idol and everything. He doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. If Madrid gets Williams and Rodrigo is leaving, yeah, but they are not getting Nico Williams, from what I can see. Nico Williams is negotiating with Athletic Bilbao, apparently, but go figure. But this secret deal is not Nico Williams. So that only can mean that it's Zubimendi, most likely, isn't it? Bring me Rodrigo, exactly. Bring me a world-class player that gets me excited at the day when we signed Mesut Ozil, when we signed Alexis Sanchez, even to the extent when we signed Aubameyang. Bring me back that excitement, because none of the signings we have made under Arteta has made me jump out of my seat and hit the ceiling. None of them. Under Wenger, when we signed Ozil, I genuinely broke the roof. When we signed Alexis, I broke the roof. When we signed Aubameyang, I was excited. I hit only the roof. I didn't break it this time, but everything. But obviously, you know Arsenal. If it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. And signing Rodrigo for the left wing spot, which, by the way, is his natural position, not right wing, because Real Madrid prefer Vini to Rodrigo on the left. Left wing is Rodrigo's natural position. He would cook there. But for Arsenal, it's too much sense. So at the end of the day, they won't do it. Let's be real. They much rather sign Karatsetsas from Genk, from some gunk team in Belgium for 45 million, and rather than sign actually a proper winger. Exactly. It makes way too much sense for Arsenal to sign anyone. Makes too much sense to sign a good player. If Perez gets Nico Williams, his job is further under threat. Yeah. But Florentino Perez knows how to do these things. Florentino Perez knows how to do these things, though. Carezas is worth signing, though. I'm not saying he's not worth signing, but in this current situation, is he the necessity? Is he an obligation? No, he's not, in my opinion. We need players in more desperate situations, more desperate positions. And so on top of that, Carezas plays in the same positions as Dauman, as Vanieri, and all these guys. So what's going to happen to them then? I understand that they are young, they can get loaned out and all this stuff. But ultimately, we don't need Carezas for 40 million right now. We need a left winger. We need a striker. We need a 6 and an 8, in my opinion. We need a backup for Saliba. We need a left back as well, by the way, because if I have to suffer through Calafiori as a left back or Kivior as a left back again, I genuinely will go blind at some point watching Arsenal play. Like, it cannot be like that. Iñaki has more use at Madrid, and reports say that we are looking for secondary striker Joselu type. I read that I read that Real Madrid are looking at Osasuna striker Budimir. Is that true? Because Budimir genuinely screams Joselu type. I read also that you're interested in Firmino. I'm not sure how much that Firmino talk is going to carry on, but ultimately Budimir actually would be quite interesting for you. That guy is genuinely just lob the crosses for back in 4 days instantly. They're talking about loaning him back to Genk as well for the season. Need someone now. Exactly. I get that he's one of the hot prospects and all this stuff, but I'm sick and tired of hot prospects. How long can you drag this stupid-ass youth project? Maybe enough is enough. We are not that young anymore. PSG's average age that won them just Champions League is 24.6 or 24.8 years old. That's the youth project there. We are way past that. Our average age is like 27, 28 years, something like that. It's not even a youth project. It's now getting to being an old-timer project. I don't care that Carretzas plays in the same positions as these guys. They all have higher ceilings than our current midfield, so they're all worth. I get your point, but we have more urgent things to attend. 40 million on Carretzas is more waste of money than anything. At this stage, at least. If it was 3 years ago, okay, cool. If we were, I don't know, if we didn't have one in that position, okay, cool. But at the moment, I'm not so sure. Then why didn't you push harder for Naipan for about 10 million or something like that? But you on everything. If Madrid bring back Morata, that would be nuts. No, Didi. I get it. Ridiculous how many prospects do Arsenal need? Get some goddamn ballers. Exactly. I'm kind of sick and tired of signing only prospects. That for me is the biggest issue. Nah, man, our midfield is grossly overrated by the fans, including Partey and Rice. I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, not so much. We are lacking in the midfield creativity, and that for us is the biggest issue. And Carretzas is not a number 8 or not a number 6. He's more of a 10 or a winger. And we need a backup for Odegaard, but what's the point then of Dauman, of Manjeri? Both can play there. Both are natural 10s, actually. So for me, 40 million could genuinely be spent in different way. 40 million can get you Ivan Toney for striker. 40 million can get you a different type of players. Unless you sell Odegaard, then we can talk, actually. Arteta is trying to reset the project, reset the age range, and youngest team. Yeah, exactly. Shit, don't forget Odegaard is gross. Odegaard is overrated to an insane extent, in my opinion. That is actually embarrassing how highly he's overrated. If we sell Odegaard, buy Carretzas, play him there. I don't care then. But as long as Odegaard is here, he's never getting dropped. Let's be real. So as long as SHAKY is here, he's never getting dropped. Our 2 best youngsters barely can get into the team because they play in the positions where Arteta has his undroppable players. That already is an issue. Q on future midfielders, do they get into Liverpool's, PSG, and Newcastle's midfield? Oh, bloody hell. They do. Well, or which future midfielders we're talking about here, though? That's also is a big question. But this stuff needs to stop as well. How long we can build for future with any disregard for the present as well? Because it's always something. It's always for the future. It's always disregarding the present. And many times when we sign certain players, like while we try to fix defensive issues, attacking issues arise. While we try to fix attacking issues, defender issues arise again. And always we fix something and it's never fully fixed. And once it looks like it's fixed, it's too late and we need to start all over. When will be the time when everything is fixed, everything is ready, and we're actually going to win the league? Before first-time Champions League, and we're going to win trophies. Like, I'm sick and tired of all these excuses and all these projects and phases and all this crap. Win now or get the fuck out of the club at the end of the day. Odegaard being overrated goes without saying. To be honest, not wrong. Not wrong 100%. Yeah. But yeah, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. It is Sunday. I need to hit the showers, need to finish watching the Nations League final. and everything needs to relax, chill before Monday because work starts tomorrow again. Hopefully, we get some news regarding Arsenal tomorrow. That is the hope. That is the hope. Hopefully, we get some news regarding Arsenal tomorrow. Not sure we will, but obviously, as an Arsenal fan, let's hope and all this stuff. But yeah, so if you haven't already, please do me a favor and like the stream. Subscribe if you're new. Road to 1K is going strong. Leave the thoughts down in the comments below. Take care. Have a nice evening. Enjoy the football. See you all tomorrow. Big up everyone. Have a nice day and see you very, very, very soon. Peace.